What is up, guys, and welcome to Dad's Life Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Flack 2.0. Thank you for tuning in. And before we get started, if you are new to the podcast, go ahead and subscribe, share, leave some comments, leave me a voice message if you'd like. Check me out at SeanFlack.com. That's a Sean Flack 2.0 blog page that has links to the YouTube also and to the current podcast that you're listening to. In today's episode, I am going to go over what's on Dad's list for 2018 holiday time. So at the end of episode 2, I left you guys with a message. I wanted to know, get some feedback from you dads out there. Like, what is on your Christmas list? So on this episode, I'm going to be sharing what people had shared with me and, of course, what's currently on my Christmas list for 2018, the holiday season. Before I get into that, though, I definitely wanted to do a shout out to Gamezilla Media. Gamezilla Media is a network of gaming industry based and I guess entertainment based podcasts as well. So just real quickly, they have 5 shows currently. If you check them out, GamezillaMedia.com, you'll find the Gamezilla podcast that does talk about all your current gaming news and gaming topics. Then you have The Legend of Retro, which talks about all sorts of gaming retro games. And I believe their criteria is anything 10 years or older. Then you have Noobs and Dragons, which is actually one of my favorites. I'm a big Dungeons and Dragons fan. I used to do it back in the day. So this is actually a DM, Craig WK. He's actually bringing some noobs, and at this point I don't think they're noobs anymore, but through their first campaign. Currently they have over 52 episodes. I believe they're on 53 by the time of this recording. So they've been going for a while. The campaign and the story is great. Go ahead and check that out if you're into Dungeons and Dragons. And then lastly, they have 2 movie-based podcasts. The first one is going to be the Last Action Podcast. That one's about an hour long, so if you have a nice commute, that's actually a really good one. Actually, almost all of them are an hour long. The reason why I bring it up, though, is because the other one... so let me finish up with the Last Action Podcast. They focus a lot on movies, but action-based movies. The last one is going to be Movie Blast with Bob and Bax, and that right there is a podcast about different types of movie genres, but there's ones that are a little bit shorter. They're anywhere between 30 to 35 minutes, so it's a real quick, easy. If you look up one of their episodes and say, hey, I want to know about like that movie or whatever, it's a real quick listen. So again, 5 different shows that they got going on right now. The reason why I am pointing them out is because in my previous episodes, I've talked about balance. And one of the biggest things that I felt I had to give up as I had kids and my family grew, or I had a kid, then my family grew, and then we have more kids, is gaming. Because gaming actually takes a lot of time. For me, I'm all about story. I'm all about those in-depth, like a video game to me is a graphic novel. It's like what a book to be, what a book would be to somebody who reads a lot. So I would put a good 150 hours into a game. Well, being a dad, we don't have that kind of time to dedicate to any of those games. So I really did feel like there was this void of me wanting to be a gamer still, but not really finding the time. And through finding them, and I actually found them through my brother Dwight, he actually introduced me to the Legend of Retro. That was my foothold into the whole Gamezilla Media podcast family of podcasts. Let me say that. And interacting with the whole team, I'd have to say my interaction first was I had a problem listening to their podcast, and I had put a message out there, and immediately somebody got back to me and talked, kind of like walked me through, did you try this? Did you try that? And again, me being new to podcasting, I was like, okay. But that was my first interaction with them, and I joined their Discord, which is, if you don't know what Discord is, it's a video game based like text and voice chat application or app, or I wouldn't necessarily call it an app because you could actually get it on your computer as a program or an extension, or regardless. I joined their Discord community, was able to interact with all of the team members on there. They're all a bunch of great guys. And it was just a good experience. And then interacting with our community, with the Discord chat. What's great about the Discord is not just video game stuff. They actually have different chat rooms for like cars, tech, food, and those are the three major ones you'll actually see me in. WWE, first person shooter. I mean, not just video game stuff. So interacting with them, seeing how their stuff worked and seeing how well they put together a podcast and all of their shows it did inspire me to start a podcast. Now, as you guys know, I am a dad. I do blog. I do have a YouTube channel that I don't find too much time to either write up a blog or shoot some video. So podcasting was a way to where I could take 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, record something, do some light editing, and kind of put the message out there. So they inspired me to do a podcast, and I've been asking questions of Grimlock, and he's the CEO, founder of Gamezilla Media, so he's been very, very helpful with putting this together. So again, I wanted to say thank you to him and the Gamezilla Media team. Also like to give them a shout out. Go ahead and check them out, GamezillaMedia.com. If you're listening to this and it is not the holidays of 2018, during the holiday of 2018, they are doing a campaign fundraiser. It's called Gamezilla Media Gives Back. Basically what it is they're teaming up with a local children's hospital, and they're raising money to fund what's called a go-kart, which actually is a portable gaming machine that they could take into the different rooms so that the kids that are staying there could actually play video games. Now, I will leave all the details and all that stuff to them, so go check them out, GamezillaMedia.com. I'm sure they'll have a banner thing up, but this is just another example of how great that team is, how great that company is, how they're trying to use their passion and their influence and network to do something really great, especially for the holidays. So again, shout out to them. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for helping me find that balance with still being able to game vicariously through you guys. So yeah. So again, thank you. Check them out, GamezillaMedia.com. For the album cover arts of episodes 1 and 2, that is actually the sweatshirt I'm wearing, is the merch that I got from them. So anyway, check them out. A great group of podcasts, a great group, a nice team, a good community behind them. I can't recommend them more if you are a gamer or you love movies or Dungeons and Dragons. So moving on with the Dad's Life podcast. So I did leave a question at the end of the previous podcast asking what did you guys have on your wish list for Christmas 2018. So a couple things people shared with me were watches, pajamas, slippers, the good old necktie, cologne. So those were some that, some folks had shared with me, which are all typical. So to me, I would like to kind of iterate what is like on my, not necessarily my list, but what are my go-to dad gifts. So if you are listening for this particular list, go ahead and grab your piece of paper now and let's get right into it. The number one thing for me for a dad are watches. I believe a nice, good, classy watch. I'm into Movados. I like the simplicity, but the classiness of them. If you are into smartwatches, though, Movado also has a Movado Connect, which runs on iOS. So if you want like the classy look of a Movado, but you want it to be a connected smartwatch, they have that. The two series that I like besides that are the Movado Bold, the Connect, as I said, and the Museum Sport. Those are the three models of Movados I suggest if you do have a dad that loves watches, very classy watches. Otherwise, if you are with that tech dad, depending on what type of phone they have, you go with the Google. What is it called? Google Wear now? Or I'm pretty sure it's called Google Wear. But the Android one, the great thing about them is they have a bunch of companies that will run their OS. So Casio makes them, Movado makes them, Diesel makes them, all connected smartwatches. Obviously, Samsung. Well, no, Samsung has a Tizen one, so strike that. Maybe I'm missing a couple. The one that LG. LG has a Google Wear watch that apparently is really good. They supposedly had a really good one before this most current one. So check them out. If your dad has an iPhone, go ahead and grab him the Apple Watch. If, let's just say like me, I don't necessarily stick with Android or Apple, you could go get them something like a Fitbit or maybe a Garmin or something like that if they want like a connected watch that will give them the functionalities of a smartwatch, but are a little bit more geared toward fitness. So watches, one of the main things. The next thing is going to be cologne. Those are definitely, cologne is always going to be a good one as long as you know what the dad likes. I personally like Clinique Happy. Go ahead and check that out. It's more of a citrusy type fragrance. It is a men's fragrance. There is a women's fragrance of it as well, but there is a men's version. I believe you could get that from a place like Ulta. So what do we got? Watches. We got cologne, shoes. Shoes was a big thing. I was a big shoe head. I used to work at Foot Locker. Shoes are great. Somebody else shared that shoes are on their wish list every year. They personally like classic Adidas like Shell Toes, Samoas, things like that. I found two that I like that are most current. They're both Nikes. One's called the Nike Air Force Utility or Air Force One Utility, and then the other one is a Nike Air Force 7 or 270 Utility. Those two are some great looking ones. I like Air Force One looking like shoes, but again, go ahead and check them out. But shoes are always a good one. So we got watches, we got shoes, we got cologne. Let's see here. What's really big right now are crates, like man crates. So you actually could check out, I guess it's called mancrate.com. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm just going off some of the things that I had saw online. Mancrate.com, they have a bunch of different crates that you could get geared to get like a crate of gifts geared toward a specific theme. So the ones that I saw were like a mystery box one. There was one that was like a cigar one if you're like a cigar aficionado or whatever the case is. Those ones are very fun, especially if you really don't know what to get them and you kind of just know like, okay, they're into this. Well, let me go ahead and get this crate. And it's going to have a bunch of different gifts, maybe a bunch of things that you couldn't find anywhere else. They're going to be packaged, delivered, and yeah, they're going to just a cool little alternative. I really like. The other thing that I saw was pretty interesting that I really wouldn't, or I totally forgot about, was steak boxes, like subscription steak boxes through like Omaha Steaks. So if you're like the barbecue dad, you have that barbecuer dad in your life, that's always a great option. The one that I saw that I was like super excited about was the bacon box. So you can subscribe to a bacon box every month. So that's actually pretty cool. The last thing that I'm going to suggest that's on my particular list of things to get is going to be a subscription, a magazine subscription, or the one thing that I do subscribe to right now is going to be the Dollar Shave Club, like some razors or some, I actually think that's actually pretty practical. And I think for dads, things that are more practical or have more value. Like that's my personal opinion. If you guys feel a different way, go ahead and leave a comment. Or, if you could DM me however you can. I have a Facebook page, hit me there. Yeah, so, dang, I just lost my train of thought. Let's get back to, subscriptions, the Dollar Shave Club. Okay, so getting right back on track. Things that are practical, generally, I find more value in. So starting out with the Dollar Shave Club, you could go ahead and subscribe your dad that, maybe like different shave products or different toiletries or whatever. And they have a lot of different packages you could put together as far as gift boxes, and you could actually prepay for the subscription for like 6 months out, so they could get 6 months worth of razors, and then if they want to continue, then they continue, and if not, well, no big deal. The next thing and the last thing, was the magazines, the subscription. So there's magazines for everything. So from gaming to guns to home improvement to whatever. I particularly have a subscription to the Men's Health magazine that I renew every year. I want to say it's about $20 a year just to get some type of entertainment, something that gets in the mail that I'm looking forward to that's not a bill. Well, I mean, who really looks forward to getting bills in the mail? But I definitely suggest, potentially getting a gaming subscription. I'm sorry. A magazine subscription. Just to share a quick story about subscriptions. When I used to work at GameStop, and as you can tell, I've been in a lot of retail, when parents would come in and not really know what to get their kids, I would tell them to get them the $40 gift bundle that I kind of came out with. And basically it was a subscription to the Game Informer magazine, which is $15 a month, and then a $25 gift card. And how does that work? They get a subscription for a year that the kids could read, and the parents could also show value in getting a magazine because they could also read the same type of articles that the kids are reading and keep up with the gaming industry, but also understand or be able to know if a game or whatever that they want is appropriate for them. So there was the double value in the subscription. It's good for a year. It'll go ahead and renew, you could go ahead and renew it a year. Next year you get them the same thing. And then the $25 gift card, since GameStop had a gang of games that are around $19 that were used, they would also get that little discount card where they could come in with a $25 gift certificate and come buy any of the used games that they wanted and then get a discount on them for the whole year. So that's what I would do, is have the parents buy the subscription for the kid. And again, number one, to sell the subscription. Like, let's be very clear about that. The numbers were the numbers, but also show value in having a subscription to a magazine. So again, you could walk into a Barnes & Nobles and go to your local newsstand or whatever, and you'll find subscription magazines to everything. And all you really got to do is open up one of those magazines, grab a little subscription card inside, and guaranteed they're going to be some kind of deals or anything for magazines. So that's my biggest thing, is giving them something that has value, giving dads that has value, and a subscription thing like that, for me, is on the top of my list for the dad that I'll be shopping for. And if you are shopping for me, something like that. It'll give us something throughout the whole year. And those are my ideas. Those are what people have shared with me. So we have watches, we have cologne, we have the subscription boxes, the crates, shoes. Other things that came that were big was like a scarf, some sweaters. I did say pajamas earlier. Don't forget the slippers. We always love slippers for some reason. So yeah, that's going to be on my list. If your list matches up with my list, let me know with a voice message, or hit me a DM on Facebook, or connect with me on the website. If you have something to add, same thing. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on. That pretty much is going to conclude this particular recording. I am going to leave episode 3 with a question rolling into episode number 4. So today's end of episode question is going to be, as a child, thinking back when you were a child, can you think back of a lesson that your parents were trying to teach you that you did not get for the life of you until you became a parent yourself, until you became a dad yourself? If you want to get a little preview of what the episode's going to be like, check out SeanFlack.com. Look for the blog that says, "My dad never wanted me to be a mechanic." Go ahead and check that out. read it. That's going to be the topic of our next podcast. You can send me a voice message on here to leave any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts about that topic or any topic that we've gone over so far. So again, episode 1 was the introduction. Episode 2 was your first initial reaction. What was your first initial reaction to finding out that you were going to be dad? And then, of course, this next one was a little bit more lighthearted. I definitely wanted to show love to GameZillaMedia.com or Gamezilla Podcast. Check them out at GameZillaMedia.com. And then, of course, some holiday ideas because we are, this is going to be the first week, I believe, when this comes out, first week of December. So dads, we love shopping late. So hopefully this doesn't get to you too late. Some gift ideas. Again, connect with me on SeanFlack.com. Check me out on Twitter at SeanFlack, Facebook, SeanFlack 2.0. So yeah, that's going to be the end of today's episode. I have nothing else. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support. I'm always looking for some constructive criticism. I know I have a long way to go, but the first thing to do is to take those first initial steps. So again, thank you for your continued support, and until the next episode, we'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.